Good morning, students. Welcome back again. Yesterday we have discussed chapter number 4, right? That was about the rat trap. The main message of the rat trap was about kindness and honesty, right? How a person changes his attitudes, how a person changes his way of living, right? Just by getting some kindness and some sympathy and love towards each other, that is towards human beings. That is what we have seen in chapter number 4, that is the rat trap. Today we are going to discuss chapter number 5. The name of the chapter is Indigo. So first of all, before we begin, what is an indigo? Indigo means a kind of purple flower. Indigo means a kind of purple flower that has been planted in the agriculture area. That is the message or the meaning of the name, that is indigo. Right? A kind of a purple flower that has been planted in the agricultural field. Right? This chapter is written by Louis Fisher. Right? Before we begin, I'll give you a short summary of this chapter so that you will be easily understanding the message of the chapter. What is this chapter all about? Indigo is about Mahatma Gandhi. It is about Mahatma Gandhi. Struggled for the underprivileged peasants. Peasants means sharecroppers, right? Those people who are working in the agricultural field, they are known as the peasants or sharecroppers. Of Champaran, that is the name of the village. They were the sharecroppers with the British planters. It was the British era. This chapter is all about the British era, right? The British people used to rule in India and they used to force the Indian laborers to work in the agricultural field, again get taxes from them, give some amount that is around about 5 to 10% to them, allow them to do all the work, right? That is all the work that was being done by the Indian croppers, that is by the Indian people, and 90% of that sharecropping part was being taken by the Britishers. That was the injustice being done at that point of time. So who leads in front of it? Mahatma Gandhi, right? I'm repeating it again. They were the sharecroppers with the British planters. It was in the hands of the Britishers. Thus, Gandhi decided to fight against injustice. Why it was injustice? Because everything was managed by the Indian sharecroppers and they were hardly paid 5 to 10% of it. And the remaining 90 to 95% was being taken away by the Britishers. So that was the injustice. So that is all about the fight. Who fights it? It is not about the physical fight, it is fight for justice, the legal fight. Who fights for it? Mahatma Gandhi, right? He waged a war, that means he started a war which lasted for a year. It took 1 year to give the justice, to handle the discrimination, that is the difference, right? The discrimination and got justice for the sharecropper. Then at the end he got the justice for the sharecropper. This is all about chapter number 5. Those students, right? This summary is specially written for those students who are not able to understand the story of the chapter. Right? My main motive of writing the summary of the chapter is, at short you can understand the story of the chapter. Right? That doesn't mean you only need to read the summary. You need to learn the chapter. You need to understand each and every paragraph. Then only you will be able to write question and answers. Right? So this summary is especially for those students who are having trouble or who are having problem in understanding the whole chapter. Right? So this is a short summary of this chapter. I hope this summary is clear. What happens? How did Mahatma Gandhi fight? How did he got justice? Where he was, where he came from? Who was that person who brought Mahatma Gandhi to this particular village, that is Champaran? Everything is given in this chapter. Right? Before we begin, I have divided this chapter into 3 parts. Today we are going to discuss part number 1. Right? So take out your textbook. That is page number 46. Indigo. About the author. Before we begin, let us know something about the author. Louis Fisher, 1896 to 1970. That is his total number of years that he survived. Who was born in Philadelphia. He served as a volunteer in the British Army between 1980 to 1920 for 2 years. Fisher made a career as a journalist and wrote the New York Times. He made a career as a journalist and he was writing for the New York Times, that is the magazine available in New York. The New York Times, the Saturday Review, and for the European and the Asian publications. He was also a member of faculty at Princeton University. He was even a faculty at Princeton University. The following is an excerpt from his book, The Life of Mahatma Gandhi. This is a small part from an expert, that is a small part taken from the book, that is The Life of Mahatma Gandhi. The book has been reviewed as one of the best books ever written on Gandhi by the Times Educational Supplement. He wrote all these things because when he came to know, as he was a journalist, he wrote all these things, what happened, how did it happen, how did he got the justice, what was the way that he fought for justice, everything has been given in this chapter. Right? This is about the author. He was a journalist, he was a professor, and he was writing for the publications, that is the New York Times and the Saturday Review. Right? This is about the particular author, Louis Fisher. Right? Let us move on to the chapter. When I first visited Gandhi in 1942 at his ashram in Sevagram in central India, he said, I'll tell you how it happened, that I decided to urge the departure of the British. It was 1917. It was 1917. Who is this? Who is this lines being spoken by? We'll know later on. Right now, focus on the textbook. He had gone to the December 1916 annual convention of the Indian National Congress Party in Lucknow. There were 2,301 delegates and many visitors. During the proceedings, Gandhi recounted, a peasant came up to me. Who is a peasant? A sharecropper came to me, looking like any other peasant in India, poor and emaciated. He was very poor, physically very poor. Like his looks were physically very poor. He just looked like a laborer, like a peasant, like a sharecropper. And I said, I am Rajkumar Shukla. And he said that I am Rajkumar Shukla. Who says this? All these things? Rajkumar Shukla. Who is this person? He is a sharecropper. He is a sharecropper. And he directly visits Mahatma Gandhi to talk about all the injustice happening in his village. What is the name of the village? Champaran. Right? I am from Champaran and I want you to come to my district. This is what Rajkumar Shukla says to Mahatma Gandhi. Gandhi had never heard of this place. It was like the foothills of the towering Himalayas near the kingdom of Nepal. It was near the kingdom of Nepal. Under an ancient arrangement, the Champaran peasants were sharecroppers. They were sharecroppers. Rajkumar Shukla was one of them. He was illiterate but resolute. He was illiterate, he was not educated, but he was resolute. Resolute means firm. He knew what is wrong and what is right. He could find out the difference between, something wrong and something right. Something legal and something illegal. And that is why he wanted his justice. He wanted to fight for his justice. But as he was poor, he was not educated. He took the help of Mahatma Gandhi. He took the help of Mahatma Gandhi. And he directly says to Mahatma Gandhi that you come to my place, you come to my village and sort out this problem. As the Britishers are taking 90 to 95% of the sharecroppings each and every year. Majority of the work is being done by us, that is the sharecroppers, and we are hardly getting 5 to 10%. This is something very injustice, very illegal activity going on in our village. Actually, Gandhi didn't heard about the name. He never saw the name. He never, have heard of this name, where actually this is. But still, the positive nature of Mahatma Gandhi, he went to that place, he saw each and everything, and then he fought. This is what the national leaders are. This is what fight for justice means. Right? What is the role of Mahatma Gandhi? We are going to look next. Moving towards the next page. Under an ancient arrangement, the Champaran peasants were sharecroppers. Rajkumar Shukla was one of them. He was illiterate but resolute. He had come to the Congress session to complain about the injustice of the landlord system in Bihar. And somebody had probably speak to Gandhi. Right? He came there to a place for complaining something that is all the injustice activity that has been going in his village. And somebody from there, the name is not mentioned in the textbook, but somebody from there said that if you want justice, to Gandhi. If you want justice, talk to Gandhi. This is what he said. That is, someone said at that place when he came for registering a complaint. Gandhi told Shukla he had an appointment in a Cochrane and was also committed to go to other parts of India. Shukla accompanied him everywhere. Then Gandhi returned to his ashram near Ahmedabad. Shukla followed him to the ashram. So this is what he is following. He is not, able to meet Gandhi very quickly. Right? Wherever Gandhiji had its meeting, wherever he had its plan, wherever he had to go, Shukla followed each and every place. And then finally he was able to meet Mahatma Gandhi. Right? He accompanied him everywhere. Then Gandhi returned to his ashram. Where is his ashram? That is near Ahmedabad. Shukla followed him to the ashram. He went to the ashram also. For weeks, he never left Gandhi's side. For a number of weeks, he was following Mahatma Gandhi. Fix a date, he begged. Who begged? Rajkumar Shukla. That please fix a date, come to my place, come to my village and sort out this problem. I am requesting you in front or in favor of all the sharecroppers which are becoming the victims of the British system. He begged to Mahatma Gandhi, please fix a date, give me a date and come to my place so that this injustice happening in my village can be stopped. Impressed by the sharecroppers' tenacity, that means the attitude towards making something very legal, making something positive, that approved or that made the favor for Mahatma Gandhi. He was very pleased that this person is constantly following me, right? And he wants so damn justice in his village that he is ready to even beg to fix a date, right? And that was the positive attitude of Rajkumar Shukla, made Gandhiji impressed and he fixed a date, right? What happens? Look into the next video. Impressed by the sharecroppers' tenacity and story, Gandhi said, I have to be in Calcutta on such and such a date. Come and meet me and take me from there. Right? Take me from there. From where? From Calcutta. Directly from Calcutta to this place that is in Champaran district. Right? That village. Months passed. Shukla was sitting on his haunches at the appointed spot in Calcutta when Gandhi arrived. He waited till Gandhi was free. He was sitting there. Before Gandhi arrived in Kolkata, he reached Kolkata, he was waiting for Mahatma Gandhi, he was waiting to end the program, and then directly he was waiting that as soon as the program will get over of Mahatma Gandhi in Kolkata, I will take him to my village, that is Champaran district. When Gandhi arrived, he waited till he was free. Then the two of them boarded a train for the city of Patna in Bihar. Right? Where is this place? Patna in Bihar. There Shukla led him to the house of the lawyer named Rajendra Prasad. Then what happened? They went into the train which boarded from the city of Patna, right, in Bihar, and from there Shukla led him to the house of the lawyer. Shukla took Gandhiji to the house of the lawyer. Who was the lawyer? Rajendra Prasad. Who was the lawyer? Rajendra Prasad, who later became the president of Congress Party and of India. Rajendra Prasad, the president of India. Right? Initial level, he became the president of Congress Party and became the president of India. Right? Then Rajendra Prasad was a lawyer. So Rajkumar Shukla took Mahatma Gandhi to that place. Right? Rajendra Prasad was out of town, but the servants knew Shukla as poor yeoman, that is, this poor person who pestered their master to help the indigo sharecroppers. So they let him stay on the grounds with his companion. Who was the companion with Rajkumar Shukla? Gandhiji. They went to the place. Whose place? Whose place? Rajendra Prasad's house. He was out of the town. He was not available. So the persons in charge over there, right, in the absence of Rajendra Prasad, they knew that Rajkumar Shukla came as a peasant over here and they wanted justice in their village. So they allowed him to sit at their house. But the servants knew Shukla was as poor as yeoman who pestered their master to help the indigo sharecropper. So they let him stay on the ground with his companion Gandhi, whom they took to be another peasant. They did knew, that means the person who were in charge in the absence of Rajendra Prasad, they did knew that this person is actually Mahatma Gandhi. As Mahatma Gandhi was a very simple looking person, he was wearing dhoti, right? Even they considered Mahatma Gandhi as one of the sharecropper. They didn't recognize that it was Mahatma Gandhi, that he was Mahatma Gandhi. So they allowed to sit on the ground. So you can sit outside on the ground. When Rajendra Prasad will come, you can meet them. But they didn't knew that that person who was sitting on the ground was Mahatma Gandhi. But Gandhi was not permitted to draw water from the well, lest some drops from his bucket pollute the entire source. How did they know that he was not an untouchable? Gandhi decided to go first to Muzaffarpur, which was en route to Champaran, to obtain more complete information about conditions than Shukla was capable of imparting. Right at that point of time, Rajendra Prasad was not available. So what Gandhi thought, I should go to Muzaffarpur, which was en route to Champaran, right? A way to Champaran district that passes through Muzaffarpur. So he decided that I will go by myself to that village and I will check it. What is the actual situation in that village? What is actually happening in that village? Right? Rather than getting more information from Shukla. Right? He wanted to get information by himself rather than relying on someone else. He actually wanted to help Shukla and all the other sharecroppers, but he believed that if I go once by myself, that I will be able to get the complete picture what the actual situation is. He accordingly sent a telegram to the professor J.B. Kriplani of the Arts College in Muzaffarpur, whom he had seen at Tagore Shantiniketan school. The train arrived at midnight. Again, now he decided to go to Muzaffarpur. He even telegraphed to a professor, right? And the train arrived. 15th April 1917. Kriplani was waiting at the station. Who was Kriplani? He was a professor with a large body of students, with a number of students. Gandhi stayed there for 2 days. He stayed there for 2 days in the home of Professor Malkani, a teacher in a government school. It was an extraordinary thing in those days. Gandhi commented, for a government professor to harbor a man like me in smaller localities, the Indians were afraid to show sympathy for advocates of home rule. Right? It is one of the greatest things like a professor, especially a government professor like you, who allows me to enter into his house and make me stay. This is what Gandhiji said at that point of time. That was something very great that Gandhiji said to Professor Malkani. Right? To harbor a man like me, that means to give a shelter, to give a place so that I can stay in your house. This is something very great words were being spoken by Mahatma Gandhi. Right? The news of Gandhi's advent and the nature of his mission spread it quickly through Muzaffarpur. They talked with each other, right? Professor Malkani and Gandhi talked. Why he came over here, what was the mission, what was the message or the objective coming over here. And Gandhiji talked each and everything to that professor, and obviously the professor might have discussed each and everything with the students, and the messages were going outside very frequently. Right? It were flowing in the air. What was the main purpose of Gandhiji to come to this place? Right? To give justice to the sharecroppers. Right? That message was flowing in the air very quickly. The news of Gandhi's advent and the nature of his mission spread quickly through Muzaffarpur and to Champaran. Even it reached to that village, that is Champaran. The message was even reaching towards there, and every people were talking with each other. That Gandhiji is coming over here and finally he'll give the justice. These talks were being spreaded in like the news in the air, which very fastly reached to that village. Sharecroppers from Champaran began arriving on foot and by conveyance to see their champion. They were ready to see their champion. They were eagerly waiting for a person like Mahatma Gandhi to come to my village. They were ready to welcome him, and they were ready to give each and every kind of support to Mahatma Gandhi. They were ready to welcome him. They were ready to welcome their champion. Who was their champion? Mahatma Gandhi. That finally there is a man who is interested in giving us justice. In giving us justice. They were eagerly waiting that when does Mahatma Gandhi arrive to our village. Muzaffarpur lawyers called on Gandhi to brief him. They frequently represented peasant groups in the court. They told him about their cases and reported the size of their fee. Gandhi cheated the lawyers for collecting big fee from the sharecroppers. He said, I have come to the conclusion that we should stop going to the law courts. Take such cases to the courts does little good. Where the peasants are so crushed and fear-stricken, law courts are useless. Right? As he was discussing each and everything with the lawyers in that place, he came to know that even the lawyers at that place said that these people are very poor. These people are sharecroppers. There are already thousands of cases going on in the court, and they don't even have the money to pay to the lawyers. N number of cases are going on in the law courts, right? Please don't favor them. This is what the particular advocates favored the Britishers actually. They said that the condition of these people living in Champaran is so pathetic, is so poor that they file a case each and every time in the court, but when it comes to the fees, they are not able to pay the fees. Then how can we give the justice? This is what the laborers, argued to Mahatma Gandhi. And what did Gandhi respond? He cheated the lawyer. He said that you all are money-minded people. This is what Gandhiji replied to all the lawyers. Right? He said that the law system is useless. Going to the courts is not going to bring any kind of the end to this conclusion, any kind of the bottom line to this problem. Going to law courts is useless. That is what Gandhiji said at that point of time. See, I am repeating that lines again. He said, I have come to the conclusion that we should stop going to the law courts. Taking such cases to the courts does a little good. That means it does not do any kind of good. If there is a kind of injustice being done, right, between the sharecroppers and the Britishers, and when you file a case in the law court, it is going to take number of years to give the justice. You know our system, right? When we file a case in the court, it takes number of years. And even at certain point of time, the petitioner and the particular responder dies and the case is still running in the court. This is our system. This is our law system. It takes number of years to give one judgment. Right? At that point of time, Mahatma Gandhi understood this concept. In 1917, this is all about 1917, that is given on the first page. At that point of time also, the law system was very weak, was very slow. So he cheated the lawyers. Why are you taking all these cases to the court? There are obviously going to be new dates when the case is running on. The judge is going to give a new date. Again, the judge is going to give a new date. And like this, it is going to pass for a number of years. Will it give any kind of justice to the sharecroppers? No. This is what Gandhiji said to the lawyers. Taking such cases to the courts does little good. Where the peasants are so crushed and fear-stricken. Obviously, the peasants are not educated. They don't know where to put their signature, where to put their thumb. They don't know what to speak, how to speak. They are very fear-stricken. When you take them to the law courts, they are not able to say anything. Because they don't have the guts and the knowledge what to say and how to say. The real relief for them is to be free from fear. The real relief that we need to give to the sharecropper is to make free from the fear that they have. This is what the real justice is. Right? In spite of making them fear, in spite of getting into the legal conversations and the legal actions and the legal law systems, try to make them understand and try to make free from their fear. This is what the actual correct decisions that as a lawyer you should take. This is what Gandhiji is suggesting to all the lawyers who are there in that village. Right? Most of the arable land in the Champaran district was divided into large estates owned by the Englishmen. Now see, this is the information that Gandhiji is getting about that village, right? Most of the land in Champaran district was divided into large estates. That means different estates were being made, and it was owned by the Englishmen. It was owned by the Englishmen. The authority lies in the hands of the Britishers and worked by Indian tenants. And who used to work on that place as a laborers or as a sharecroppers? Indian people. So actually, as per the law, who is working should get more, right? And who is owning, that means the owner should get less, because the actual work is done by the sharecroppers. But in reality, it was something different. 90% was getting in the hands of the Englishmen, and the actual people who were working on that agricultural field were getting 5 to 10%. Plus, even they have to pay the tax. So at the end, they were getting nothing. This was the worst situation or an injustice that was being created by the English people in that village. This was the situation. The chief commercial crop was indigo. This is the name of the crop, that is indigo, right? Which is a kind of a purple flower that was being planted. The landlords compelled all the tenants to plant 3/20th or 15% of their holdings with the indigo and surrender the entire indigo harvest as a rent. That was done by a long-term contract. This was the contract done by the Britishers to the Indian people. 15% only. I said 5 to 10, it is 15%. Right? 15% only, and the entire thing was in the hands, that is the remaining 85% was in the hands of the Britishers. And the amount of the indigo again that was sold to different places, and the profit that was being again handed over as an holding of 20th or 15% and surrender the entire indigo harvest as rent, and the entire holding and the profit that was handed to the Britishers as a rent. So they were getting a constant income from the remaining 85% of the indigo that the Britishers used to keep by themselves. They give it on rent. It was a kind of a product in the agricultural field which is known as a purple flower, right? That was being given to the people in that village as a rent. You can imagine the critical conditions, right? Out of 100%, only 15% is being given to sharecroppers, remaining 85% is being kept by the Britishers. And what happens? That 85% is given outside or being sold outside in the market as on rent. They have to pay. This is what the condition was. Gandhiji is listening all these things, all the injustice being done in that village, right? And the last 2 paragraphs for today. Presently, the landlords learned that Germany had developed synthetic indigo, right? These Britishers were very smart. They came to know that a synthetic indigo was being developed in Germany. They thereupon obtained agreements from the sharecroppers to pay them compensation for being released from 15% agreement. Now they came to know that there is a synthetic indigo being developed in Germany. So they were not interested. Who were not interested? The Britishers were not interested in all these things. And as it was a contract, those peasants, that is the sharecroppers, cannot do anything. They were, inside that contract. And these Britishers came to know, and they were not interested in India now. They were interested in Germany. As an hybrid indigo was being developed over there. So what plan did the Britishers do? They called all the sharecroppers to end the contract. What amount of percentage did the sharecroppers used to get? 15%. And what was the new contract? Do you know? That if you want to free from the old contract, right, you have to pay compensation. compensation. Pay some amount, that is XYZ amount of rupees to us, we will set you free. We will set you free. This was the new contract that was being developed by the Britishers, as they were not interested in the Indian indigo process. They wanted to shift their business from India to Germany, as a new hybrid indigo was being developed over there. So what did they do? They called all the sharecroppers and told that if you want to be free from this 15%, right, you pay the amount of as a compensation to us and we will set you free. This was the plan that the Britishers were making. Last paragraph. The sharecropping agreement was irksome. Irksome means weird to the peasant. Many signed willingly. Many sharecroppers who were little bit financially strong, they accepted the agreement and they paid the compensation to the Britishers and set themselves free. Okay, you want to end the contract? We are ready to pay the compensation amount, but please let us make free. But please let us make us free. So some strong sharecroppers who had some financial conditions, some good financial conditions, they gave the money to the Britishers as compensations and they let themselves free. But majority of the sharecroppers were poor. They were not able to pay the compensation to the Britishers. What about them? This is the question now. Those who resisted, that means those who opposed, engaged lawyers. They got the lawyers. The landlord hires thugs. Meanwhile, the informations about synthetic indigo reached the illiterate peasants and they wanted their money back. Right? And somehow the information that was in Germany about the synthetic indigo process that was being developed over there, that information reached in the ears of the Indian sharecroppers. And at the end they came to know, right, that this British people are not interested in our process, right, and they wanted their money back. We don't want to know any new contract, as we came to know that you are not interested in our indigo process, that is in the Indian indigo process. You are planning to shift from here to there. Give us the money back. Give us the money that we have invested in this sharecropping agreement. We want our money back, or we are fighting for justice in the law of court. This is what the remaining peasants, one of them was Rajkumar Shukla. Right? That is why he visited Ahmedabad and different places, and he followed Mahatma Gandhi. And they wanted their money back. That we are not going to end the old contract, right? We know that you want to skip from here to the other place. We have come to know, right, that now you are no more interested in this sharecropping field. You are planning to go from here to Germany, as you are getting a higher quality hybrid of indigo. Right? So we will not end the contract, right? We want our invested money back, and then we will set you free. This was the new term or a new particular agreement that was being given by the Indian sharecroppers to the Britishers. This is the situation right now. This is what the situation is. Gandhiji is listening all these things. Right? And now they are somewhere in between. They are fighting for justice. The previous sharecroppers, right, gave some compensation amount, right, which was actually not to be given. But as they had some financial conditions, good, they gave the money and put themselves free. But the other remaining peasants came to know why they are moving from here to some other place, and they got the reason. That they are moving towards Germany as they are getting a higher or hybrid quantity of indigo. So the remaining particular sharecroppers said that we are not ending the contract. Pay us the amount back and then we will set you free. And if you run from this place without ending the contract, we are going into the law court of justice. This is what the Indian sharecroppers moved their face towards the Britishers, and there was a Cold War. A place or a situation started like a Cold War. Is this story clear till now? I hope it is. Right? Now what does Gandhiji do? What are the new steps that the Gandhiji takes? Right? Towards, making justice towards the remaining part of the people that are living in the villages as sharecroppers. That we are going to discuss in the next part. I hope the story is clear till now. Make a note of the summary. Right? I request again to the students, please don't follow the summary. Try to understand the chapter as a story. So it will be easy for you to write down question and answers. Right? Make a note of the summary. Thank you.